Dive into the world of Excel with our comprehensive guide on the versatile count functions. In this video, we'll explore the various count formulas that can streamline your data analysis and enhance your spreadsheet skills. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced user, you'll find valuable insights and tips to make the most of Excel's capabilities. Remember to hit the like button if you find our content helpful and subscribe to stay updated with our latest tutorials and tips. Happy learning!
In this module, I want to have a look at the count functions that you have in Excel. So on the screen, I've got examples of 5 different count functions. Now there is another one, decount, which I'll cover in a later session, but this one is to do with the count function, the COUNTA function, the COUNTIF function, the COUNTIFS function, and count blank. So in the left-hand side of the screen, in column A, B, C, I've got a table of information, and I'm going to redo these for you. So first of all, the count function. If I type equals count and then press my tab to get the bracket, what the count function does, it just counts numbers. Even though it says count, it is actually only for numbers. So if I just select the range there, C2 to C27, and click the tick, it will tell me that there are 24 items. And if I come down a cell and try and do that on the text column, you'll see what happens. Equals count, open the bracket, select the text, click the tick, comes back with a 0 because it cannot count text. So the count function is just for numbers, and when you go to the, if I go back to home, if you go back to the sum button and the little drop down there, look, it actually says count numbers, but when you click on that, it does put the count function in there. I'll just get rid of that for a second. So counting numbers, get rid of that one. If you want to count text and numbers, you need to use this function, count A. I'll try that one. So equals count A, pressing tab. I'll highlight the text, so count how many items is in there. Ticking that. 26. Now, if I do that again underneath, equals count A and select it on the figures and tick it, you'll see that it works both ways. It's counting both sets. Now, if I put a letter in there, it's clocked that up to 25, and if I put a letter in there or some letters in there, it's counting both numbers and text. So in my view, count A is a better function than the count function, and it should be sitting on that list, not count numbers. That's just my viewpoint. Now, COUNTIF is when you want to qualify a count by a category. So in this example, I'm going to look down the column B for the word car. And when I find the word car, I want to know how many times it's in this list. So it's going to count the word car. And that's one is COUNTIF. So equals COUNTIF, open the bracket. It's asking for the range. Well, the range is this column B set, comma. Now you have to put your criteria in quotes. So I'm putting the word car in quotes. So it's going to look for car and then count it. Tells me there are 4. Now, if you don't want it like that, you could have it looking at a cell. If you had a cell with data validation on it, for example, if I just do that one, go data validation really quickly and just put a couple of items in here, not the whole list. But if I just put, say, car, tax, gas, 3 items of that list, just so you get the idea. I'll just color that up so you can see where I am. So now if I select something from there, so if I select tax, for example, and then change this formula, instead of having car in quotes like that, I could just click on that cell reference. And then when I tick that, it still will count it. So if I select car again, remember car was 4. It's bringing that up. So I prefer to do it like that, then you're not messing about with the quote symbols. So that's COUNTIF, but you can only count one category at a time. The next one, COUNTIFS, is where you want to count multiple categories. And I've got this example here, West and gas. Again, I could have a drop-down list, a data validation list too, that has those criteria on, but I haven't, so I'm going to type it out like that. So here we go, equals count ifs, open the bracket with the tab key. So it says criteria range. Well, the first one is this list, comma, what is the criteria? Criteria is going to be west, like that, comma. Now it wants criteria range 2, which is going to be this list of items like so, comma, and I want to look for gas. Now again, I could use name ranges, and then I wouldn't need to highlight it like that. But that's the actual formula. Pick comes back with 2, which is the same as that one. And then the last one is count blanks. So there are some blanks in this list, column C, so I'm going to use the count blanks feature there. So equals count blank, tab, highlight the list or select the list, click the tick. It should also come back with 2, and that's a dynamic. All of these are dynamic, so if I delete something, it'll just change over. So that little session is all about the count functions: count, which counts numbers; count A, which counts numbers and text; COUNTIF, categorizing a count; COUNTIFs, where you want multiple criteria; and then count blanks. Now, just one other thing I want to mention. There is another thing you can do with COUNTIF, not necessarily doing a category. You can do it like this. Look, if I want to know how many items in this list are over 300, for example, I could do this: equals count if, select the range. Now your natural inclination would be just to go greater than 300, but you have to put it in quotes. So greater than 300, like that. Close the quotes, close the bracket, and then click the tick. That's just telling me that there are 14 items in there that are over 300. That's the COUNTIF. So that's all for this session. Thank you for your time. I'll catch you on the next one.